What is up, everybody? Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Today we are going to be taking a look at Sypeh playing Loki. This is a very high level game. He's also playing with a couple notable people, Helis TTV and Doge Biceps, and he will be playing against Necros. I did pick this replay because I do see, Necros is a very, very good Spider-Man. So I wanted to see how he kind of deals with that Spider-Man pressure. As Loki, I think a lot of people it's easier to deal with as Loki, but a lot of people do fall victim to Spider-Man. So let's just get right into the replay and we'll see how he's able to survive and play very well, even in a very high ranked lobby. So also, it seems like everyone loves the Loki gameplay and Thor gameplay and like Mag gameplay over pretty much everything else. So figured we would just keep going and keep the Loki gameplay coming. Getting over to, I totally forgot who we were spectating there for a second. So, getting right into the game, we are on offense first. And there is a Doctor Strange, but they are opting not to portal. And it will be interesting I feel like every Loki plays their clones a little bit differently. So, putting one a little bit more offensively here, trying to get a little bit of an angle on the high ground over there, using his right click to create a second one. And just throwing some shots into the distance. His tank's doing a good job of blocking damage. And they are actually able to take out the Hulk and the Cloak and Dagger right off the rip. So this point should be theirs pretty quickly. Content just using his singular auto attacks here to heal up, since they know they have a couple people down in the enemy team. And yeah, they just take this first point. So not a whole lot to be said on that one. But placing his clones a little bit aggressively, playing sort of near those. Going for more damage than anything else. And Necros is on Storm at the moment, so he might switch to Spider-Man a little bit later. But going to be a pretty dominant game from his team so far. Content just leaving the card in the background. Knows he has a couple clones firing into his team here. Not saving his right click for anything in particular. They don't have any backline dive on the enemy team as well, so he's not really going to need to stand invisible. Going to just be the person to escort the card here, putting another clone that's a little bit closer to his team as he stays a little bit further back. So if his team does need to back up, he should be able to get a little bit of value out of his left shift there as well. His Storm ults, and they're able to take out all members of the enemy team, with Hulk dying a little bit earlier, placing a clone on high ground to get a nice view of this next point. And just going to be pushing this cart with about 4.5 minutes left on the clock, going towards the second checkpoint as well. Hulk should be going for the touch there, but gets a nice quick 180 just in case to teleport to that clone that he did leave on high ground there. So if anyone on the enemy team was to take him out or try and take him out, he had a quick getaway that he can do in under a second. Very nice to do there. Does feel like the enemy team is not really playing the game. They're just probably trying to regroup a little bit. I promise this game was a little bit more even when I was looking at the replay, looking at the scores, all that sort of stuff. So hopefully they'll put up a little bit more of a fight here. Just making sure the Bucky stays topped off, making sure the tanks stay nice and healthy. And his Luna ult saves them all from the Storm. The enemy Luna ult comes out as well. Fear Magneto should come out too. Takes out the Luna and the Cloak and Dagger there. But the enemy Doctor Strange ult, Hawkeye ult, they get pushed off the point just a little bit. But he does take control of the Luna, making sure that they can win this fight at the very end. Push the Hulk back into spawn. I think he could have stepped up there a little bit sooner to make sure that this mag gets healed a little bit quicker, but still a very dominant fight. And his Storm goes right back in, tries to get a little bit more as the enemy Cloak and Dagger ults to try and make sure they can stand on point. Stepping back a little bit more, has a clone in melee already. Unfortunately, when characters are just jumping around like this, it's a little bit hard to hit them, so not able to top people off as well as he would like to there, but playing around his clones, playing close to that, making sure that he's just able to fire all this splash damage into the enemy team. His Doctor Strange does commit ult, not able to get anything there, uses his right click to drop a clone on point. able to top this Magneto a little bit more easily. Unfortunately, still taken out, but getting a good amount of healing into him with the help of that clone that he just placed. And they're just going to back up and give the enemy team a little bit of space while they wait for that Magneto to respawn. Popping another clone at his feet, trying to heal this Bucky. Super out of position though. His Storm gets sniped by the Hawkeye, and they're just going to fully back up, play this line of sight, make sure that none of them get picked, standing behind these shield tanks, dropping a clone at their feet, and waiting for the rest of his team to get back. Farming a little bit of ult charge off of healing this Doctor Strange, but he already has ult, so it doesn't really matter. Drops a clone, again, sort of close to him. I feel like he drops them at the same sort of distance every time, and then uses his right click to get a second one there, making sure that he can get a good amount of damage if he hits his target, hits his allies, or hits his enemies. Steals Luna ult, does use her left shift first. He does have 11 seconds to use this ult. I see a lot of Lokis actually just use their ult immediately, but uses his left shift, gets a good amount of healing, ults, refreshes that duration on the Luna possession, and then the ult should fade in a second. He still has another 3 seconds, uses his right click before switching back to Loki, and then his Luna pops ult to keep them all safe from the slew of ults that the enemy team pops as well. So they pop Luna ult, Cloak and Dagger ult, Hawkeye ult, Storm ult, and Magneto ult, but his Luna ult is able to keep them very, very safe. Strange ult comes out. This does look like a pretty even fight. Looks to be 3-on-3. And he's just going to run back to the fight there. So we can see the Hulk is dropping low. His mag is able to get a nice pick on the Cloak and Dagger there. Quickly gets a couple clones out and starts blasting into the Void over there, keeping his Doctor Strange alive and getting a little bit of damage on the enemy team. Again, drops a clone just a little bit in front of him. Just a little bit in front of where he's going to play typically, and then using his right click to get another one, keeping these clones out of the line of sight of enemy players so that he can have them stay alive a little bit longer. And he has once again farmed Luna ult, so again transforming into Luna, using her left shift as Doctor Strange drops uncomfortably low. He pops the ult to keep him alive. Enemy Luna ult comes out as well, so no one's going to be able to get any KOs on this one. Bucky ult does come out from his team, maybe a little bit early on that one, especially because the Luna ult was still going. But with the help of Storm ult, Bucky and his Doctor Strange are able to finish off the other ones. Enemy Cloak and Dagger ult comes out to try and stall the point, but they are down quite a few. He is going to back up as he gets turned on. Doesn't have access to any clone creation except for his right click, so uses that there. Plays a little bit behind the point as well, using his left shift to try and top himself off, using his snap, his F, to get back into the range of his green goop on the ground, which was a nice play too. He noticed that he still had that healing area there, and he was getting dove by Hulk, so getting back into a position where he can top himself off, stay a little bit safer. Solid play. And we were very dominant in the first half of this game, but now it is just under 30 seconds on the clock going towards this final push. Only access to Doctor Strange ult, his ult, and Storm ult should be coming up one more time. So goes into Luna once again, popping his left shift, getting his nice clap damage on the tanks. Popping Luna ult just so that his team can step up. And damage boosting the Storm a little bit as she goes through the enemy team. Able to quickly take out 2. They do return 1 on the Bucky with the help of that Hawkeye. But Storm Touch is not going to be very strong. Quickly taken out. And they're going to be getting this 3-0 in the first round. So, pretty dominant. Got a little bit dicey at the end, but with 2 Luna ults, they're able to both push forward and still have a Luna ult for when the enemy does a little bit more of their damage. I definitely need to be switching the POV here. There we go. And all of his team standing on high grounds, gets 2 clones set up on high ground as well, so they can make sure to prevent any push there. Pops his left shift, maybe a little bit prematurely, but the high ground push does come in. Mag cannot get back up there, so he's going to drop a clone over there and teleport to it. so we can get a little bit more damage, a little bit more healing at a little bit of a safer angle. Unfortunately, his Doctor Strange not able to get that little hop up, so you can see he's just playing that little cubby right there. A little bit out of line of sight. Finally able to use his left shift to get onto high ground, and with no access to Loki left shift, he just goes invisible. Stays invisible for a little bit longer, and Spider-Man getting right back on him. His mag doing a great job of shielding him from harm. Has one clone on point, one clone over here, so the enemy has to look around. The clone nearby is taken out by Hawkeye, and he sees the Hawkeye looking at him, so he opts to just fully reposition here. Don't think they're going to be getting the victory on this fight, but pops his lamp to try and stall. Does waste a few seconds more of the enemy's time, but his team is forced to back up there. I do like that as soon as the Hawkeye started looking at him, he was able to just fully reposition. It's like, okay, well, he took out one of my clones. He's looking to take out me next. I think a lot of people just ego chow Hawkeyes nowadays, and you definitely don't. It's the wrong character to ego chow for sure. He also goes directly to this right-hand side here. A lot of people on this map do get caught on that left-hand side and are not able to fully switch over, give the enemy a lot of free ground. But making sure he still has a clone right in front of him. Trying to pump some heals into this Doctor Strange. Steals Magneto ult here. Not sure if that was intentional or not, if he was going for a different steal, but they do lose their Doctor Strange, so maybe having an extra tank posturing up could be helpful, but I would imagine that that was an accident. I don't know. Storm ults, but is taken very, very low. Has to back up a little bit. Make sure she doesn't die. It's quickly dispatched by the Hawkeye. And they are down 2, so it's going to be a little bit of a tough fight. His Luna ults to keep them safe. And we're just going to be blasting into the void over here. Since Cloak and Dagger did ult, going to be able to keep her team relatively safe. Just contesting this last 1.79 meters. He's quickly farmed Loki ult. Uses his left shift as Luna, trying to take out that sky person. I think that was Doctor Strange in the sky over there. With 5 seconds left, he's just using his Luna abilities to extend that duration further. Pops his ult, has another 12 seconds as Luna. Just gonna sit here, make sure his team stays full HP. Stays Luna for a few more seconds. Try and drop a clone at his feet, but the Doctor Strange is taken scarily low. Dropping another clone at his feet and backing up to a safe distance, leaving his clones in range of his tanks. His Bucky ults. Doctor Strange from the enemy team ults. Luna ults. Uses his left shift to make sure that anyone standing near those clones is able to stay a little bit safer. Storm is farming his ult very, very quickly on his team, so able to quickly take out one. Bucky is able to get one more, and Storm is able to get another one. They quickly win that fight. Just about 2.5 minutes left on the clock, too, so they still do have a bit of an uphill battle. Trying to get some poke on the enemy team around this corner here. And then, again, dropping a clone just behind the tank. I think that was a premature left shift. No one was taking any damage or anything like that. That is going to be a pretty major cooldown in these sorts of situations. His Doctor Strange did try to counter the enemy Doctor Strange's portal, it looks like. But Luna ult coming out, completely getting rid of Necros' ult. His Magneto blows Fear Magneto. Enemy Hawkeye comes out, and just to chain these ults together, Luna has already ulted, but they're still in a little bit of danger, so pops his left shift, holds Luna ult for when something else is going to happen, and then quickly pushes the enemy back with the help of that damage boost. I think the fight was pretty much already won at that point. I mean, they didn't have... I mean, Punisher had already ulted, Cloak had already ulted, Necros had already ulted, so probably could have saved his ult for another fight there, but making sure that they get that win is could definitely have been a big play. He's also able to farm ult very, very quickly. As you can see, he's already at 22% with the help of those clones. All that splash damage that he's able to get on multiple members of the enemy team. Gets dove by Spider-Man, and Necros is able to get a nice pick on him in the back line. Fair Magneto comes out from the enemy team, not able to get a... Oh, he is able to get a one-shot on the Luna. The rest of his team quickly following suit. They still do have a good amount of distance. They were able to push this point back quite far from it being at 1.79 meters away. So they should have one more chance to stop the enemy here with just about 30 seconds left on the clock. Doctor Strange gets frozen, which is very nice. Enemy Luna ult comes out, and they should be able to stay alive while they take out the remaining members of his team. So very good Doctor Strange ult. And the Punisher gets a nice two-piece there as well. Going to have to play for this last point with just under 2 minutes on the clock. And as we know from the round before, you can hold this in a bad situation for about 4 minutes. So they were held here for 4 minutes. They just have to do about half of that. Building up his ult charge here. Putting another clone in front of him and behind the tanks. Using his right click to drop another one at his feet. And just doing a ton of damage and a ton of healing into this little block of enemy players. Necros is in the back, does not have access to his left shift, so he was a little bit susceptible there. Needed to make sure that he was putting a little bit of pressure on Necros there. And just throwing all that splash damage into his team. Necros forces Luna ult, but they do still have access to a duplicate of that. Enemy Cloak and Dagger ults. Punisher and Luna quickly taken out following Necros. His Bucky gets a beautiful three-piece. And the team wipe coming in with just about 40 seconds left on the clock is going to be very, very big for them. They should not have access to Doctor Strange portal since they just recently used it. Necros coming in hot towards the back line. He's going to choose to focus on the rest of his team. Still has access to his right click and his left shift, so he should be staying pretty safe. Pops his left shift right as Necros gets in on him. His Storm does not get a whole lot of value out of the ult since Punisher is in his, but Punisher is quickly dispatched. And the Luna ult, Mag ult comes out from the other team as well. Not able to get anything off of those. And he can just sit back here with all of his clones, fire healing into his team. Quickly top off this Strange. And they're going to trigger overtime as the enemy Doctor Strange ults, but they do take out another 3 members of the enemy team. Just need to finish off this Magneto here, and they should have the overtime clock time out there. And there you go. There you have it. Another Loki win. Another good Loki player. Definitely seems like he's following the pattern of putting a clone in front of him, but behind the tanks. Seems like a good place to have them. It's close enough where people can quickly backstep into your healing goo if they need to. Gives you a good line of sight on the tanks. All that good stuff. And a well-deserved Storm MVP. Gets a lot of damage there. And as you can see, he does a good amount of damage himself, heals a ton. The enemy healers were absolutely pumping, but they're still able to take the win with the help of that extra damage too. He's doing both of the damage combined, and his Luna did another 12k. So I think it might have just been a healer damage diff. It might have been. But if you want to see more replays on specific characters or anything like that, please leave a comment below. Like the video if you liked it. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.